at 8:30. So I think it is time for Good Morning,
Good Shepherd.
So glad that you're with us this morning. This is, if there was ever a morning where you wanted to stay under the comforter.
Yes.
A rainy, drizzly, in the 40s Augusta morning is about the best time. So the fact that you're actually watching us, if you are, we appreciate it. It's glad that you're up.
Well, they might still be in bed under the
They
covers.
might be in bed
They
under the
could
covers.
be peering out over the top.
You know, watching us on their phone.
You know, I think that it's just a simple fact that over the last year, many Episcopalians have been worshiping not at the Church of the Holy Comforter, but under the Church of the Holy
That's
Comforter.
right.
If they weren't at St. Mattress and All Pillows.
Great.
And it has been a strange year, and we have just about hit just a little about 1 week, arguably 1 year, maybe a year and a week.
About a year and a week.
That everything changed in the church, and in society as a whole.
Well, I want to say one thing. One of the things we worried about was that people would get extremely comfortable with having that cup of coffee and a hot roll or something while they watch church or formation or whatever. But folks, if you were here last Sunday, for those of you who were, what a joyous time to be together. So don't give up on us. We're having 2 services a Sunday now, and that may change a little bit later, right?
That will change on Easter Day, back to 4 services every Sunday.
So the joy of community, and the Bible enjoins us, for the sake not the assembling of yourselves together. And while technology is wonderful and it kind of saved us, there's nothing like being here in communal worship. It's just great.
It was something, I think, for everybody who was here last week at 9:15 or 11:15. You just couldn't escape how happy they were, the clergy were, everybody associated. It was more than I expected to be pleased. I didn't expect the level of just pure joy on my part.
Yeah, joy's a good word.
Yeah.
Looking out at the church, because we are spaced out. In truth, 50 people in the church look kind of full.
After being nobody.
After weeks of looking out and preaching to blank pews, or Jim Nord sitting out there as the sole person out there.
Poor Jim has been more sermonized than any other person in Good Shepherd.
Yeah, poor Jim. That's right.
He's not escaped a bit. But it did make a difference.
Even in the parish hall, because I was in here last week, and just you could feel the energy that people had about being here, even if they didn't get into the church.
And in that regard, we'll go a little bit more, but just so to give you, as we're going forward, next week we'll still be at 9:15 and 11:15. Next week is Palm Sunday, and we'll have a procession around the church. We can't do our normal work with Woodlawn and Reed Memorial next week. That would exceed our limits, what we have on number of people together. But we will do that on our own, 9:15. Both services can handle up to 50. But on Easter, we're going back to 4 services, and we'll stay there. And that's at 8, 9, 11:15, and 6. There won't be Good Morning, Good Shepherd at that point. And for Easter, sadly, we will have to go back to reservations, because that just is only practical. It would break our hearts for people to show up on Easter.
Right.
And we got a little leeway if some extra people show up, but not if an extra 200 or 300 people showed up at a given service.
Now, on one hand, we'd actually like to kind of have that problem.
Yes.
But as Ted said, we really want to avoid saying, well, you can't come in today. We want
But, don't be
really
afraid
keep
to
that
come.
away.
But it does give us a lot, at 100 people, 50 in the church, 50 in the parish house. That gives us space for 400 people on Easter, a lot less than we would normally have. And I will say this, because it will be by reservation. If for some reason they all fill up, there is other time in the day. The clergy are committed here at Good Shepherd to doing whatever it takes for those who want to come to church on Easter.
Yes.
We will make that happen, but we do have to do it by reservation. But otherwise, we hope that the reservation business is off going forward after Easter, 8, 9, 11:15, and 6. We think that people can find a place without having to go to do the reservations. So we're excited. We want to see the faces in the church. It will be different.
And I have to say this, I gave a plug to Jim and Molly in my article in the Shepherd's Fold this week, but music last Sunday, folks, you could not help but be moved. Jim, giving you an A+, brother. It was wonderful. I had a big tear running down my face. It was great.
Well, let's talk just a little bit about Holy Week. We will have the services on Palm Sunday, as I said, 9:15, 11:15. On Monday through Thursday morning at 7 a.m. we will have a Eucharist in the church. Then at Thursday evening, 7 o'clock, we will have the proper liturgy for Maundy Thursday. On Friday, 7 a.m., noon, and 7 p.m., we will have the proper liturgy for Good Friday. And I don't know how all the rest of you all feel if I could only attend one service a year in the church, which would be something strange. But if I could only attend one service a year, it would be Good Friday.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Because it is, there's a reason it's called good. There's no day that we know that our God loves us more than on Good Friday.
I can't remember the author, but someone once wrote, speaking of Good Friday, the day men dare call good. And I love that concept.
Yes. Yes. It's a day of horror also, but it is, that's what makes it amazing, is it's so positive from God's love for us that it overshadows the horror. But you have to have both. You can't have Good Friday without acknowledging the horror of it.
Right.
And then Saturday morning is a very short proper liturgy at 7 o'clock. And then Easter, 8, 9, 11:15, and 6. And that will be by reservation. But if we get overwhelmed with reservations, we will find a way to,
That's right.
to shoehorn people in somehow or another.
Bunny, we'll go to your house for worship and breakfast. How about that?
Sounds good to me, as long as you bring the food.
I can
You
do
know
that.
I don't cook.
I got some frozen bagels in the freezer.
Well, let's don't forget about Thursday night, the vigil, the all-night vigil
Oh, that's right.
as well.
Thursday night, after the proper liturgy, there is an all-night vigil in the church with the reserved sacrament placed in the church. And it is, if you've never spent an hour in the church in the middle of the night, just you, yourself, and God,
And
missed something.
you might want to just say for people, there's not a set time, right? You come and go as
That's right.
the Lord feels you're led by God to be there.
There is a sign-up sheet to make sure that we have everything covered, but it's not like, oh.
Yeah, because we want somebody in the church
Right,
at all
right.
times during that night.
But otherwise, please feel free. If you are moved on Thursday evening to come, even if you didn't sign up, you can come.
I think we can get you in.
We can get you in. I am not afraid of hitting our 50-person limit at 3 a.m.
No, I agree.
I would love to have that problem.
But it's a wonderful time to be in the church too. It's quiet. You could hear the creaks of of all the wood, and to see the sacrament the light shines just on it. The rest of the church is dark.
Bunny, would you say that experience really helps you focus on what that's about?
Yes.
Do you find that?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, the first time I was an adult, I guess I was in my 40s, the first time that I ever sat vigil, that was the night that I realized why Easter is our most important day, rather than Christmas. And there's something about, at Christmas, after Jesus is born, you feel like it's complete. On Good Friday, on that service, even though if he says it is finished, there's still an anticipation that you have. You know that he says it's finished, but you don't know what's coming. Of course, now we do know, but there's an anticipation, and then the joy of Easter.
Well, I think for people who are suffering real crises right now, we have a lot of those in our parish, that this is where you really draw close to the suffering of Jesus. And you sense his own anxiety. I'm not sure Jesus fully knew just how the Father was going to pull this off.
Right.
So I think in our own dying and in his dying, there's that, I believe, I hope, but just how is that going to unfold? And you get to join that with Jesus' own situation as he's taken to the cross and dies there.
Trust and obedience. Trust in God.
We're left with total trust.
And then obedience to the end.
And I think it's also appropriate to acknowledge that there is fear, but it's overcome by trust.
Yes.
It's not like Jesus thinking, oh, this will be okay.
Yeah.
No, this is fine. I know we got to do this. Like I got to go get my vaccination, and my arm's probably going to hurt for a little while. No, there was fear, but love and trust overcame that fear. And he was able to do for us what we could not do for ourselves. Holy Week is really a peace. It's a holy week, but it is of a whole. And the more that you encounter that whole of Holy Week, the more that it touches you. And that's why I encourage people, don't think of these things as duties. Think of these things as incredible gifts and opportunities that are made available to you.
To prepare
Right.
for what Easter is. It would be like trying to go in and take an exam without having studied. Obviously on a much bigger level, but
that's my nightmare.
Mine too.
If I have a common nightmare, it is, I have not studied. I didn't even go to class that semester. I didn't realize I'd signed up for it.
That's right. I had that one too. As a matter of fact, when I was in my 50s, I thought I'll never have to have that dream again or that nightmare. And then I went back to seminary and I relived it all again. So still haunts me.
I think that chance, because human suffering needs to be sanctified in some way, or it's meaningless. If all you do is just suffer because you suffer, well, I mean, that's in effect just too bad. But to be able to take your suffering, even though they're incomparable to what Jesus went through, but you join your suffering to that of Jesus and walk the way of the cross through death into life eternal. And that is a powerful concept. Suddenly your suffering becomes meaningful. It's made holy by Jesus' suffering.
And it gives you something to cling to.
Yes, it does.
As far as that sure and certain hope of resurrection. And having something to cling to, having some hope, helps with any kind of suffering.
Yes.
And suffering is inevitable. I think we all know that.
Yes. If you don't, you will.
Yes, that's right.
Just hang on.
None of us are immune to
That shoe will drop.
Yes.
Now, one thing that's going to be done a little bit differently, or I should say in addition, is that our own Roger Spear has developed a program for Holy Week. And although he is too shy to be on camera, he is going to tell us a little bit about on an incredible offering that he is going to make available to us for Holy Week.
mic thing. So it's called Practicing the Art of Jesus, and it's a workshop kind of scenario where every day there is a new video released that's a short reflection to the day's scripture that's tied to a rule of life and then presented through the artistic process. So I'll basically be coaching folks through making their own work of art as a response to the Holy Week narrative every step of the way along each day of Holy Week. So that by the time it actually goes through Easter Monday with you, how do you use your art as a mission to go out into the world? So it is probably one of the coolest things I think I've ever designed. And you can sign up through, there's a link on I just posted a link this morning on Facebook and the COGS Instagram, the student ministry Instagram account, and it'll be in the shell. You can just register up and then I'll put you into the mix. And then really everything will come to you. You get a daily email that'll have the video and a link to the Zoom, and everything's right there, real easy for you to participate in. But I think it's going to be a cool way for folks to engage every day of Holy Week if they can't physically be here at church. So.
All right, let me ask you something. Here's what I'm hearing. This is for everybody, not just youth and children,
I
right?
posted it to the Episcopalians on Facebook page. So I mean, I've just opened this up to the whole church. It'll be from the field this week for the diocese. I'm actually partnering with people from the Diocese of Central New York on some of this stuff too. So it's like all over the joint, and Good Shepherd all over the joint.
I thought that was pretty appropriate.
It's just a great, it's a platform, Good Shepherd trying to engage the whole church in Holy Week, which I think is pretty special. So help support that.
Well, it's a wonderful gift that Roger has made available to us. This was originally for the diocese, you say Central New York.
Yeah.
That this was, Roger was working with that diocese to develop this program, and that Roger has decided to make it available to all of us.
Yeah. Kathleen Barnhart just asked about what supplies are needed. There aren't, it's up to you individually. So if you're not comfortable with an art as a painter, then you can just doodle and draw. If you like working with clay, then you bring your own clay. It can be any material you want. The instructions are intentionally vague enough to just give you a place to focus your energy, and then if you want specific help, then you can schedule an individual appointment with me to get coaching for whatever it is you're doing. So you kind of get the art teacher there whenever you need to. But your supplies are whatever you want around the house or whatever you already have, or use it as an excuse to go buy some stuff for yourself. It would be pretty cool.
I wonder if I can buy some talent, because I don't have any talent. So.
We've proven that Father Mom can sing.
Oh, yeah, right.
We've proven that Father Mom can draw, too. I don't know.
I think somebody paid Jim to say that I could sing.
Thank you.
It was
Thank
worth every
you.
penny.
Yeah. We also, the Easter egg hunt.
Yes, we got
Yeah.
an Easter egg hunt on Easter. Again, it's things are done by reservation for Easter, but there will be an Easter egg hunt between the 9 and the 11:15 service. And we're still looking at, last time I checked, Jenny was still looking for Easter eggs.
Yeah. So please bring Easter eggs. And aren't they divided, or am I?
Well, the children's groups are divided.
The youngest ones are I can't remember, the youngest ones are in one group. I think the youngest ones might be over at the EDS quad. And then the little bit older, still this is for younger children, are going to be in the Litchgate Garden.
I think that's like 1st through 3rd grade, and then the little kids, the little kids are in the quad.
3 to 5-year-olds will be at the school campus.
Right. So.
And that's always great fun to see the little ones running around looking for those eggs.
They look like greyhounds at the starting gate. Just let us go.
It is always very sweet to see one wonderful child who will share their egg with another child. I don't think my children ever did that, I'll just let you know. Every man for himself.
Absolutely. We did that in our own yard. I mean, the Good Shepherd at the time didn't have a parish-wide Easter egg hunt. And no, my brother and I, not only would we not share we might have engaged in a little violence.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
You had to know my brother. This is my twin brother. It was all his fault.
I'm sure
I
it was.
never, ever at fault.
I'll just go ahead and tell you, I was always at fault at my house. And if you don't believe me, just ask Mama. She will tell you.
So they had to have a separate Easter egg hunt just for you,
Just for
right?
me,
Keep
yeah.
the other siblings from getting hurt.
Well, it's amazing, those things that you remember.
And now it's fun to watch, you know, the next generation and then the next generation. And
Right.
watching your children help their little babies. It makes me feel really old. I'm getting depressed. Y'all change the subject.
Sounds like we need an adult Easter egg hunt too.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Called taxi.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right. Thank
You had
Roger.
to say that, Roger.
To eject darkness into the light. Thank you, Roger.
Well, the Easter Bunny still brings grown-ups a gold egg at our house.
Okay.
So, and there are different little treats in each one. You get to pick one, and then at the end there is some of that violence we talked about. Because some eggs are better than the others.
That's true.
Well, one little observation as we're getting closer to Easter, and this will be our last Good Morning Good Shepherd, actually, because
Wow.
next week we will be doing, well, excuse me, we are going to have Good Morning Good Shepherd, but it's going to be outside next
Right.
week, and then we're going to go into but our last one, like full discussion like we have today. And I want to say, for those of you all who've been in Augusta all these years, and so many of our folks at Good Shepherd, I don't know what percentage, but have lived most of their life here. Having been gone for 17 years, I want to tell you how extraordinary Augusta is in the spring.
Oh,
And the way it times with Easter. And the azaleas will be blooming. Spring on the coast is pretty, but let me tell you what, the azaleas and all those good things, they're gone.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, you have spring, then you have Easter. But we live in a very unusual environment where we generally get them together. And I want to tell you something, that adds something to
Yes,
Easter.
it
oh, it
does.
does.
And I haven't even asked, I shouldn't even say this, I assume that the flower cross is
I
still
was just
out
thinking
there.
that. Yes. No. Yes.
We usually do that. We
Yeah.
flower the cross.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's beautiful.
But I'm going to tell you, Friday at Stations of the Cross, when you get under the east window, Kay Allen and her artwork of growth, there are 3 different colored laurel petalums with
Yeah, they're
long,
beautiful.
fuzzy leaves,
Yeah.
flop blooms. And right in the middle is this yellow jasmine coming out, just bursting in yellow. And everybody walking the station said, "This is my favorite spot.
Yep,
This
it
is
is.
stunningly beautiful." So we are blessed with wonderful buildings that speak, come in worship, but also the grounds. They're magnificent.
And if you drive in the driveway there, you'll be able to see it right
Yes.
as you get to where the sacristy is. It is beautiful. And the tulips, I've loved seeing
Oh.
where there are patches of tulips in
Yep.
different parts of the
Those orange and
campus.
yellow tulips that were out here on the side, now they're gone.
Yeah.
the storm took care of them.
That's what's so sad. It's so beautiful, but that does help you to appreciate it
Yep.
more when it comes back.
Well-
The Japanese magnolias
Were
have been
extraordinary
gorgeous.
this year. And you know, realize that not every Christian is given this blessing.
That's right.
Yeah.
We happen to live in an environment where we get this incredible blessing, and to help us to see at a different, I shouldn't say deeper level, but it's an additional level, the idea of new life, new growth that we get here, and another reason to be thankful for this.
Gone to Easter in the snow before.
Yeah.
Up in Pittsburgh. I mean,
Yep.
we've gone Easter in the snow. Like the past 5 years here in Augusta, every Easter has been really cool. really
Yeah.
amazing.
So if there's snow, do you still get to start wearing white on Easter? If it's snow?
Your snowsuit.
Second trip into Easter with snow on the ground in like your Easter shorts and stuff. Those were some interesting Sundays.
Well, I remember an Easter here when I was a boy. that the daffodils had just come up and blooming, but they were encased in ice. We had an ice storm that night.
Yeah.
And I remember being so fascinated. That's in ice? But they were still beautiful.
Well, one year, when I was at Sewanee, April 2nd, we had 2 inches of snow. Now, that was not on Easter Day, but it was in that still season. Now, I will say this. It's 2 inches of snow in the morning, and by the afternoon, it was all gone.
Yeah. Sounds like Augusta.
Yeah.
Southern snow.
Southern snow.
Yeah.
But we really are blessed. And different places have different blessings, but Augusta has been blessed to give a wonderful spring. And even this rain that we're having today and the cool weather is going to be so important to the preservation of those beautiful flowers on Easter. And there are very few times I'm thankful for rain, cold rain, but today is actually one of them.
I love it. My favorite kind of day. When you were talking about daffodils, I remember Mama teaching me that when you plant daffodils, that you just sort of throw the bulbs out and then plant them wherever they go. And I had done that one year with the help of Sarah, who used to help me, and I was so proud of them. They were beautiful. And in a few minutes, one of the boys, I can't remember if it was Simon or Leverett, came in. They had picked all of them. It brought me this bouquet of beautiful daffodils, and they were beautiful. And so proud, you know.
Yeah, that's. I used to bring my mother the flowering peach in our yard.
Oh, yeah.
First one, I would beat my brother to it. And as soon as the first blooms showed up, I would bring those in to her, and that's something I still remember.
Well, I grew a nectarine from a seed. Everybody said it won't bear. Well, it's about 13, 14 feet tall now, and last year had 49 nectarines.
Really?
Which the squirrels thoroughly enjoyed.
Oh, yeah.
But those blossoms, they're a kind of a deep, deep pink, but the odor has a little hint of citrus in it.
Really?
And they're soon it'll be gone because the tree is just about ended blooming. But I think all of that bespeaks of the glory and wonder of God's handiwork. God is proclaiming Jesus through nature to us if we just look. Just look and listen.
The Christian church has almost always, down through the centuries, said that we can see God in God's creation. This isn't some newfangled idea. No, the church has always said that God created this world, and therefore this world reflects God, and we should look for God in creation. Now, He was most perfectly revealed, God's most perfectly revealed in Jesus Christ.
Well, of course,
that's where we need to keep our focus. But there's nothing wrong with looking for God in His magnificent creation.
And you come to know God in that creation. Obviously, more so with Jesus, but the beauty and the seasons and the cyclical nature of things help us to see and to know God.
There's a reason why in Scripture the theophanies, and that's a fancy seminary word for a direct encounter with God, frequently occur on high mountains. Because if you get on top of a mountaintop and you look out on a clear day at a mountain range, there is a sense of God's presence that is just unmistakable.
But if you're not on the mountaintop, you could see it every afternoon in the sunset or in the morning. Yeah. Yep.
Go take the time to look closely at a flower. Something that you pass by all the time, and it looks nice. But stop and actually, I'm not stop, smell the roses. I'm talking about stop and look at that flower closely. And there may be a few that aren't this way, but the vast majority of them are absolutely exquisite.
And smell. There used to be over where the parsonage was, the youth house. There were ginger lilies there that came in, and I would just stop by there and just to smell them. But they're not there now. She took them out. I have some in my yard.
I do too.
And I love them. I love them. So.
Well, we have hit 9 o'clock. Thank you all for being with us today, and hopefully we will see you at 9:15 or 11:15.
Okay.
Have a blessed day.